Friends, it's Deanna Willison with Our Blooming Catholic Life, and I don't know about you, but I've been dying for over a year to get my hands on one of these mini mending looms. A lot of people, when they came out, there were off-market ones, and they were apparently awful and cheap, and people complained. But I did get one for Christmas this year. They cannot keep this one in stock, and I will caveat by saying I don't have the proper thread they recommend. But let's get to it and see what exactly it is. Now, I have this clearly old little vest, and you can see it's got stains in it. It's got so many of these little holes, and yet I love this thing. And I wanted to keep it. So I've been working on and practicing. This is a great thing to practice on too. Patches. Now you see I'm going to need to make one there. I can actually do one over this stain as well. You can use fun colors like they did, a variety of colors, but you can also try and match yours. Now they recommend, of course, that you use DMC floss, and you're going to want to try, like if it's a cotton shirt, you'd want to have probably cotton floss. This is a wool vest, and so I happen to have literally natural wool in it the same color. So I split this. It's a 4 strand, so I split it into strands of 2, and that's what I used. I can try and show you that in just a minute, but let's show you the pieces. Like any good darning project, you're going to have a hard surface. Why? Because I don't want to darn through the other surface of the vest or my leg. You never want to darn your leg to the thing you're mending. You'll notice that this has a nice groove in it, a nice deep groove, and that's very important. We'll get to that in just a second. Here is the mini mending loom itself, and it's already loaded up with a rubber band, but let me get that off. There's a number of these rubber bands. They're fairly thick, width-wise here. Not so much this way, a little bit thicker than your average one, and you're going to notice that that's going to go fit into that groove. So if you ever need another one, you're looking for something that fits into that groove at least a little bit. You'll see again why later. And this circle, should anything happen to it, note that again it fits into that groove. And if you go on the back side, this is where it's going to make sense. The rubber band, you try and preload it because it's going to need to go. Yeah, it's easier to have this on the loom first. So you can have it on just like that. Then there's going to be fabric involved. But in the end, what you're going to do is grab that rubber band in the front and pull it down around here. It is not the easiest thing in the world to do with or without fabric. But that's the whole point. You're pulling your fabric taut over this so that you can use the mini mending loom. What else is in the kit? You're thinking directions. It's just this little 1-page directions. There's not a lot. It's a little contents, a little picture of it being used, and they did use different colors in this one so that you could tell what they were doing. There's that pattern should you have liked it. And here's the key, the QR code that is going to take you to a video of somebody using it. That is wildly helpful. Otherwise, the description is just, this is the description. It's not instructions, it's a description. They have it, I'm assuming in French first. And it just says, start your weaving journey with a DMC weaving loom. These bijou little darling looms, I'm guessing on that bijou word, I'm not sure. Little darning looms are a brilliant way to explore weaving, perfect for use with our Eco Vita thread. That's ECO, next word Vita, VITA thread. Embrace more sustainable fashion. It's ideal for mending favorite jumpers, which in English would be a sweater, cherished cardigans, and cozy socks. A jumper is a sweater that goes over your head. As well as creating woven embellishments that can give clothes a new lease of life. Based on a design that initially emerged in the 1940s, these looms make mending easier and faster. You don't need any weaving or embroidery experience to use them. Once you've created the basic weave, you can progress to creating different patterns and textures to really make your weaving stand out. And again, they have the diagram, then they have it in 2 different ways, and again, there's the QR code is in there. Then it's just a bunch more of those rubber bands, and then this. Heaps. Right? This is your needle. So it's like a giant needles, not a darning needle. This is a decent point on the end. Make no mistake. So what do you do? Well, let's show you how to do the loom part first, right? This. I'm going to take that off. Oh, let me show you something else first. So what I'm would do is try and get these hooks. I want you to see that they move. Do you see that these move left and right? What they're going to do is you're going to bring a string up and loop it over and bring it down, fasten it into your fabric, then bring the next one up, loop it over a loop and hook it into your fabric here. By hook it in, I mean when you get down here, you're going to use your needle and go like one space over, and then you're going to bring your thread back up and put it on the hook. And so you're going to have a bunch of little loops. It's going to be looped on this end, and down on this end it's going to be connected to your fabric, whatever it is that you're mending or working on. And whenever you do this, now remember I said there was a loop up here. So when I say there's a loop, I'll just use this crazy orange yarn here. This is really too thick for doing this, but I'm just trying to show you what it looks like. It's going to be a loop, and depending on which way you swipe these, which one of those two threads is going to be higher. Did you see that? Now the one on this side is higher. When I do it this way, it lifts the other one higher, doesn't it? Now this one's higher. And so what that's going to allow you to do, because it's going to do that for every loop going across, is you're going to be able to weave it in through all those upraised loops, and then you're going to smoosh your yarn down to wherever you're working and pull it out, and again smoosh it down, and then you're going to attach that one, go a little bit higher on this side, and then move these over. Now the opposite one is up, and when we're going to come up here, some people are probably going to want to bring it back through with the pointy end first, but the directions also show you can bring it with this end, the flat end, over just to get your thread in. And again, tamp it down. You want it nice and tightly down as you're going across. You don't want a crazy woven thing where it's like a big gap between the threads, because you're mending the fabric. Unless you're being artful that way. If you do, I like a tight, nice, tight knit weave, and so you're going to pull it down every time. Now you may have to get another little tool, kind of scrape it down. I don't have any kind of a comb or anything that fits this, but you may, and I may still find one. I might get a nice little comb and do that. So that's the principle of it. These little hooks are going to go. So the trick is, when you're starting out, you want it to be easy to loop that thread on there. And the way to do that is to have them straight up and down. See how easy that is? That's almost impossible to do. So what you can do is do it a couple at a time. So you would get this one, do it here. Okay, got that one on, and then try and go just a couple more. And do a couple more. And you can do it that way. It's difficult to have them all standing up. You see that the line of what's standing up moves along with you. It's really hard to get them all to stand up, or all to kind of stand up. They're just connected that way. So you can do a couple at a time. Let's see if I can do this to show you. And actually using that thread may work. I've got a bunch of these little balls. I made a blanket and I had some left over. So let's see if I can't just take some of this, because this would be great for showing you. Crazy look on my poor little vest, and now I'm going to untwist this. You can see most yarn is tightly twisted together. I don't have the floss, so I'm just going to untwist some yarn. You can see as I start to do it, this is 4 ply, so it's 4 pieces, so I can undo them. Now they're going to be crazy curly. Why? Because they were twisted together, right? So they're going to be crazy curly. It's okay. And if this is too thick for my project, I can take it down one more. I can peel this one as well into getting 2 threads. Okay. Now I've got that one. Gotta get all that twist come out. The poor machines. Now if it was hand spun, you know all the effort that goes into plying and twisting yarn. And it makes you sad to undo it just a little bit. Okay. Whew. Are you ready? This is the tough part. Okay, there's a big hole over here. that I want to patch. If you're wondering why this looks odd, it's knit on this side, on the inside. So it's stockinette side is what we're looking at on the vest. That is the outside. So I'm going to take my rubber band out of my disc because my disc is going to need to go on the inside. Did you see that? It's here. I need to put it directly underneath. Now, if you watch the video with this, they're going to show you some tools that it did not come with. One of them is an invisible marker and a little ruler. What are you going to do with that invisible marker? By invisible marker, I mean it's one that you can see when you put it on and then you wash it and it comes out. So I guess it's a washable marker. Okay, now I'm fighting with it. I've put the disc in that groove on the metal loom, and now I have to try and get this rubber band in here. And again, this is a sweater, so it's a little bit thicker, and you can see me wincing. The rubber band normally pops off for me multiple times. There could be a way around that. Maybe you could make a couple of stitches to hold the rubber band and place just little temporary things. But you can see that hole big in center. Oh no, there's another one down here. This happens to me all the time on this. There's the rubber band. On this sweater, it is just how it is. If you know any real tricks for getting the rubber bands to behave, let me know. But, I mean, that's hard. I want it to be taut. I want to work on it when it's nice and taut. One thing, I really have to dig that metal into the groove. Get that on there. I don't know of a way of doing this better. Again, this vest is fairly thick yarn. So, okay, I've got it again. For now. Then I will take my needle. And the easiest way they did for threading it is fold it over at the top. See, just fold it over. And then pinch it and push that pinch through the eye of the needle. And that is probably the easiest way to thread it. Now, you can leave it like that. They actually did do something with a big loop like that. That's just not how I did it. I pulled mine through. You can do that however you want. Okay. So with the invisible thread, I would make in the roller, I would make a line here at the bottom. Why? Because you can see on the ones that I did, they're not perfectly square or rectangle. Again, these are practice. But if you had that, you could do it. You come at it from a bit far over. So I'm putting it in further away than I want it to start, but I want it to start maybe over here. Yeah, there went the rubber band. That is the number one problem with this. It's not that the loom is chintzy or cheap, it's that the rubber bands are just impossibly difficult to keep on. I did that once before. I just put it under the disc on that side. And you're going to go ahead and leave a decent size tail there. You're going to pop that through the other side later. Remember what I said, it's going to be difficult to start the loom here. So you're creating, I don't know, is it warp or weft? The one that goes up and down. And one of the easy ways to do this is to get it over the hook and then put your thumb there to kind of hold it till you get it to where you want it. Somehow I got two. Keep getting the two. Okay, so now I'm going to come to the bottom. I'm going to come over a little bit. Again, if I had my box outlined, I would be going across on my little line on that box. The thing I don't have. Also need to make sure your tail stays out of the way. And then I will bring that up and get my second one. Again, you want to make sure that these lines are perfectly horizontal. Mine are not. You could, even if you were using a thicker thread, do every other hook. You don't have to do every one of these hooks. This is going to be quite the crazy little patch suddenly on my little cream colored vest. Oh well. Just wanted to get enough here that I could show you what to do. Say that that's what we're doing. And my last one, I'm going to again pull it way far away, pull it out. Okay, now you can see mine are not straight up and down at all. It's just a demonstration. I'm just showing you the basics. Okay, now I want another color. Should have some of that gray over here. Ah, here's a hot pink. Lovely. Again, you could actually use colors like this. I would just use wool if I was doing this for real because this is a wool vest. Let me see. Where's the other end of the pink? I can't find the other end of the pink. I'm going to go ahead and snip it. Snip it. Just snip me a piece. This would be really super fun on this vest. So you can make it as colorful and bright or as neutral, sad beige as you like. It is yours. Again, split, 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 split. This yarn is acrylic. That's why I would not leave it in this yarn. Again, just showing this for demonstration. Take some time. Get the kinks out now. You do not want a kinked up yarn to work with. Nightmare. Again, I fold it over. I'm going to crimp it nice and tight. Hold it as tight as I can. And put it through the little eye here. Okay, through. Same thing as before. I don't want to bring that anywhere near. So I'm going to start further over. I want to bring it up right outside here. Oops, right there. So I'm going to go ahead and pull it through. Leave a long tail. Make sure it starts off to the side. Now, I want these all swooshed one way or the other. Remember I said, it's going to do the work for you in lifting the loops. So in this case, our right hand, the loops over here are the ones that are up. And I'm just going to slide it through there. It's almost no work. The trick is getting it far enough down. This is what I was talking about. You can see it's not sat all the way down in my grid here. Just going to push it down a little bit. And then to hold it, to anchor it down, I'm going to make a little stitch over here and lift it up. Now I'm going to go back, but before I go back, remember I have to flip these back. Now it's going to lift up the other side. This is going to look really fun. I may look for some colored thread. I have lots of great sock wool I could probably use in this. It's probably the right thickness. And now we're going to go back this way. Can you see it? It's between them. Okay, now again, how do I get that down? I liked doing this. I put it back in, smooshed it down, pull it down as much as you can. There we go. There we go. Smoosh, smoosh, smoosh. Again, I could probably do a little better. There really is a hole behind there, though. Smoosh it down as far as I can. And again, it will help because I'm going to make a stitch over here to hold it. And pull it up. And then I remember to flip them all over. And again, see, I can do the pointy end here. Doesn't super matter. Not when I was doing it. I could not see that it made a difference. And it's going to get tighter as you go along to smoosh these down. I did find it's easier when they're still sort of loose to do that pushing them down. Once they're tight, you're kind of out of luck. There's like the moment. Bless you. I don't know if you could hear my husband sneezing from the office. The acrylic is catching more than the wool, so it's really not going down well. But you can see how it's making a little pattern. Okay, this is super bright and fun. Why did I resist doing fun colored patches? But you can see how this works. And again, when I get done, the trick is it's going to be connected right to the fabric that you're mending on the bottom and the sides because we're hooking in. It's not going to be connected on the top. It's actually going to make a tiny pocket. So if you just want to make a tiny pocket, don't do this over a hole. Do it just somewhere randomly. All you could hold in there is, well, if you did it the whole way across, you could definitely hold something in there, right? A little bit of change or something fun. You could definitely do that on kid stuff. It'd be fun to have all those tiny little woven pockets. But if you're not going to, what you do is you get to the end. You will go ahead and take off your rubber band, take your loom off, and you're going to go one by one and catch the end of this loop and then hook that into your fabric. And then you're going to catch the end of the next loop off a hook, take it off a hook, Going to take it off the hook already. Sorry. The loops are just going to be there. They're going to just like be hanging out there at the top, but they're going to be open. So you're just going to stick the needle in one loop and go down into your fabric to hold it. I hope that makes sense. They have a video again that shows you really well. Yeah, but sometimes you need to see it with all the mistakes and accents. And you can see my lines are not straight. My lines on the side aren't straight. That's what you're using your water soluble marker for. So you have to make sure your fabric is water soluble. You could possibly get just a little piece of paper or possibly pencil it on. There's various ways. I mean, you're going to cover most of whatever lines you make. So take it with a grain of salt. You make that choice yourself, what you're going to do it with. I probably wouldn't do it with a Sharpie, but there's probably some other things that you could do it with to be fun. You could match one of these colors as well so it doesn't show up. Again, totally up to you, but you really do want them to go straight up and down. Or do you? Do you want a diagonal slanty one? Maybe you purposely want to make them all slanty, and you could do something fun with the cross ones. I think these ones need to be horizontal, but your up and down definitely could be slanty or something fun. You could always go back through. Say you did a little field of green. Perhaps it was, you have blue going up and down and green going across. And then maybe you go back and embroider a little flower on top. You can make this totally your own, super fun. It's just crazy on my little vest. I'm going to go ahead and pop this off. I'm sure you're going to have questions. Will I have answers? We'll never know. But you can see it is attached now. But no problem, because I did not sew in my ends. Oh, what do you do with the ends? You just pull them through the other side and knot them. It's like no big deal at all. Why? Because it's completely woven in on the other side. So it's not a big deal at all. No worries at all. I hope that this helped you. I might try it with a sock and then show you with a sock. I'm curious how that's going to work, because normally for darning socks, you used a ball end or like a light bulb or something. So I am very curious. Oh, here you can see how the loops are at the top. So in the end, right, I was saying you just would tack those down basically with a little whip stitch. No big deal there at all. Okay, friends, may God bless you and keep you. Have a great day.